Good morning, my friends. It's Friday, May 29th, and today for math, we're going to be looking at the strategies that we can use to add and subtract. As a review, we're just going to be looking at the strategies today, how to use a number line, how we can use doubles to add and subtract, how we can use what we know about what equals 10, so our visualization of a 10 frame card, and how we use counting on when our question has on or back, counting up or counting down with 1 more, 2 more, or 3 more, or counting down with 3 less, 2 less, or 1 less. So some of the tools I'm going to use to show you our review today, and just follow along with me on the review. Then these are the tools I'm going to use. And then I posted some game style pages for you like this or like this. And each game style page suggests what strategy you should use to practice to answer those questions. Now you might know those answers right off the top of your head anytime, but I'd like you to take some time to think about a strategy that would work very well to complete those pages, and I've listed each strategy with each page. There's about 6 pages, just do as many as you want. There's pages for addition and pages for subtraction, and I'm going to show you both as we work our way through. So working in the order that I've posted them, we're going to start with our number line to do questions. So I can use my number line for questions that are addition or subtraction, and I'm going to just remind you how we bounce up and down our number line. So let's say my question was, we'll do addition first, I guess. That would make sense. My question is 9 plus 3 equals. In addition, it doesn't matter what number I start on my number line, but it's always faster if I start at the big number. So I'm going to start at the big number, and I'm going to bounce forward 3. So from 9, make 3 nice bounces. 1, 2, 3, and that means my answer is 12. Very easily solved. Let me grab my eraser. Your number line is also erasable. You just have to push a little hard, especially if you use red like I did. So let's say my question is 18 plus 1. Then I'm going to go right up to 18. I'm not going to start at 1 and try bounce 18 times. It's too many bounces for me. I might lose my spot. So I'm going to use 18, and I'm going to bounce 1 time, and it shows me my answer would be 19. You can bounce with your finger and come to the answer, or you can write right on your number line like I am. Let's say my question is 7 plus 5. Then I'm going to start at 7, and I'm going to make 5 bounces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my answer again is 12. When I'm adding, I bounce forward, and when I'm subtracting, I'm going to bounce backwards. So let's use our number line to do some subtraction questions. Let's say my first question is 7 minus 3. Then I'm going to always start at the big number when I subtract, because I have to take a smaller number from a big number. I can't have 3 cookies and take 7 cookies away. That just doesn't work. So I'm going to start at 7. I'm going to bounce back 3 bounces. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounces, and then my answer lands me on 4. If my question was 14 take away 6, I would hop over to 14 and bounce back 6 bounces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I land on the answer 8. Remember, each bounce takes you to the number before or after, so each bounce is only 1 number. Let's say I had the question 19 take away 11. I have a lot of bounces to do there. I'm going to start at 19, and I'm going to bounce 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I land on the answer 8. So my friends, when you're using your number line, remember you're going to bounce forward for addition from the highest number, so you can do the least number of bounces, and you're going to bounce backwards for subtraction. If you're doing a subtraction question, again, from the highest number, bouncing back the number that you're taking away. The number you land on is your answer. So just a quick review on how we use our number line. Our next strategy is the double strategy. So we have practiced our double facts, and you'll see on the page that I posted, your double facts are all listed down the side. But we're just going to remind ourselves in math how we can use the double facts that we know to do both addition and subtraction questions. So we know that 2 plus 2 equals 4. So our subtraction question, when we look at the number families that would go with the 2 and the 2 and the 4, would be 4 minus 2 equals 2. So we have the same numbers. The total is 4, but if we took 2 of them away, then we would have 2 left. So we can use the facts that we know, and if you don't know them, you want to do some practice with some flashcards to help you remember. So if I had the double question, 4 plus 4, and I know the double answer for 4 plus 4 equals 8, I can use these numbers as a fact family to get my subtraction question. 8 minus 4 equals 4. If this is causing you some confusion, you can make it into a number bond where you put 8 and your two other pieces, 4 and 4. And then remember, when we manipulate a number bond, we have 4 plus 4 equals 8, or we put a minus sign over here, 8 minus 4 equals 4. So it helps us just to manipulate those numbers once we know them. Let's do a couple more in our doubles. Our next one is a 6 plus 6. And you may remember that the answer for 6 plus 6 equals 12. Then in my fact family, I've got 6 and 12 and 6. Do you remember how we used fact families before? That would mean that 6 plus 6 is 12. So 12 take away 6 has to equal, oops, that's not a takeaway sign, has to equal 6. We're just going to work our way through the numbers to 20. So I've got my double that we all know, 10 plus 10 equals 20. So that would mean that 20 minus 10 equals 10. Reading it backwards gives us our subtraction question. One more in the double facts. If you need to practice your double facts and you don't have flashcards, you can do what I did and just set up your cards so that you have 2 of each card and then just quickly go through them. Our last one we'll practice is the 5 plus 5, and that equals 10. So 10 take away 5 equals 5. So you'll see, my friend, there is a subtraction double question, double problem page that you can do, and you're going to use what you know about the addition double to create the answer to the subtraction question, okay? If you need to practice your doubles, go ahead and set a deck of cards up just like I did. I just went through a deck of cards and I spread them out until I had 2 of each number that I needed. And then you put them in a neat stack so that when you flip them over, now I've got them flipped over. When I flip 2, I get a double. 5 plus 5 is 10. 9 plus 9 is 18. 8 plus 8 is 16. 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. 7 plus 7 is 14. 10 plus 10 is 20. And 6 plus 6 is 12. 4 plus 4 is 8. And 2 plus 2 is 4. And you've quickly practiced that. And if you don't want to take the time to make it into doubles, you can just flip one card and call the double. So you would go like this, 2, and do 2 plus 2, that's 4. 6, 6 plus 6, that's 12. 7, 7 plus 7, that's 14. Practice your doubles so you know them very quickly so that you can use them to help you when you want to solve addition or subtraction questions that have a double component. Our next one we're going to do, my friends, is when we use the numbers 1, 2, or 3 to just count on or count back. Now I grabbed myself 3 objects, but you might use your fingers to do this. And you would only want to count on and count back with your fingers or with objects if the question had a +1 or a -1. So there's only 3 kinds of questions we're going to use this for: a plus or minus 1, a plus or minus 2, or a plus or minus 3. So when you're looking at your questions, if you had this question, 7 plus 8, you would not use the count on 1, 2, or 3 strategy for that because none of those numbers are 1, 2, or 3. So the only time we're going to use this is if our question has 1, 2, or 3, and we can count up and we can count down using those. So let's say our question is 10 plus 1, or our question is 8 plus 3, or our question is 15 plus 2. We'll do those questions. And in the subtraction problems, let's say our question was 19 minus 2, or our question was 15 minus 1, or our question was 8 minus 3, then we could use count on or count back with the numbers 1, 2, or 3. So if I do my plus 1 question, I just start at 10 and I count one more, so 10, 11. And I've got my answer, it equals 11. If it says it's plus 3, I'm going to count all 3 objects starting after the 8, counting up from 8. So I already have 8. Then I would say 9, 10, 11. Oh, and look, my answer is 11 again. I must like the number 11 today. Adding 2, I'm going to just count 2 more, then 15. So starting after 15, I have 16, 16 and 17. So my answer is 17. The same thing happens when I count back. I don't need to count the number up to 19. I'm just going to start at 19 and go backwards. So if it says 19 minus 2, I'm going to just put 2 in my space here. Then I'm going to say after 19, 18, 17. The answer I end on is my answer. So the answer is 17. If I have 15 minus 1, I just have to count back from 15, 14. So my answer is 14. If it's a minus 3 question, I'm going to count back all 3 objects. So before 8, counting backwards from 8, 7, 6, 5. So the one I end on is my answer. So my friends, you'll see worksheets for you to practice the strategies using a number line. Making 10, I didn't do making 10 yet, did I? I'll do making 10 next. Doubles, counting on and counting back. And let's do our last strategy that we're going to look at today as a review, which is the making 10 strategy. So if I know the solutions to make 10, I'm going to be visualizing these 10 frame cards. Let me put some up for you. I've already got 5. And I'll grab one more low number. There we are. So if I can visualize these problems, then I can write the addition and the subtraction problem, which means I can also solve the addition and the subtraction problem. So let's start with just one of them. This one shows me 3 are full and 7 are empty. So then I know that 3 plus 7 equals 10. So if I had the question 10 minus 7, I can picture this frame, or let me do it a different way. If I have 10 minus 3, I can picture this frame. 3 are full, and I have to just answer how many are empty to find the answer out. Similarly, if I wanted to do the question with 7, I'd have to find my 7 card or visualize my 7 card. Then I know that 10, I want the answer, that 7 are full plus 3 are empty equals 10, and that's what I know when I see this card. So if I saw 10 minus 7, I can imagine what a 10 frame looks like at 7, and the empty is the answer, equals 3. Okay, so I can use the picture of a 10 frame to answer the question. If I had the question 6 plus 4, then I could imagine what does a 6 frame look like, and I have one right here. This picture might pop into my head. I have 4 empties, so I know it equals 10. If I have the subtraction question, anytime I have the question 10 minus something equals an answer, I can imagine what the 10 frame looks like for this number. So that's the 10 frame that you would imagine. And then this is how many are empty. How many are empty? You might remember we played that game on the smartboard all the time. How many are empty? So let's go quickly through this strategy using making 10 in a subtraction problem. So if I have 10 take away 2, because this is a 2 10 frame, I imagine a 2 10 frame. And I see how many are empty. The answer is 8. If I had a 6 here, I imagine this 6 10 frame. 10 take away 6, how many are empty? It's 4. If I had 7 in this, excuse me, that's another 6. If I had 10 in this box, I can imagine this 10 frame. So 10 take away 10 means there would be nothing. There are no empties, so the answer is 0. Here's an 8, my friends. So 10 take away 8. I imagine the 8 10 frame. I see 2 are empty, so I know my answer for 10 take away 8 would be 2. If it said 10 take away 1, then I might use counting back. That would be faster. But if I want to imagine a 10 frame, I would imagine this 10 frame, and I see that 9 are empty. So 10 take away 1 would equal 9. If I had 5 in this box and it's a 10 takeaway, I can imagine the 5 10 frame. Then 10 take away 5 would equal 5 that are empty left. So my friends, there's a worksheet for you to practice each of these strategies. Try to practice the strategy that is labeled with the worksheet, just so that you get a chance to practice all of these strategies. So the strategies you're practicing, my friends, using a number line, using what we know about our 10 frame cards to visualize our making 10, counting on or back if the question is a question that has the numbers 1, 2, or 3 in it, and what we know about doubles to help us do subtraction questions. Have fun doing the questions, my friends. Spend 5, 10, or 15 minutes practicing a strategy, and when you feel comfortable with it, move on to the next one. If you start the number line strategy and after 5 questions you're like, oh, I've got this, I know I'm jumping backwards for subtraction, I'm jumping forwards for addition, I'm super great at it, stop practicing that strategy and move on to another strategy and practice that one. Have a great Friday, my friends.